We have a Brembo Radial Master here that's fully adjustable, so you can have the lever short or long by moving the pin here to change where the lever goes. You have adjustability here for your free play in the throttle. The clamps on the handlebars and the clutch are bolts, so you can position the levers wherever you want them to be. But unfortunately, the handlebars themselves are pinned under the triple clamp, so we have no sweep adjustability like we would have in a GSX-R, for example. So you have a couple of options. One, remove the retaining pin here so that you can move the bars in and out, remembering, of course, that you cannot hit the fairing. Or secondly, move to aftermarket clip-ons, and clearly those will be available. Onto the rear sets. On both sides, whether it's the brake lever or the shift lever, we have an elliptical peg piece here that can be turned around in a circle to get this gap wherever you want it here. Unfortunately, the rear sets are not adjustable. The same applies with the shift lever on the other side, and the rear set isn't adjustable on the other side either. In this particular bike, the passenger pegs have been removed so that the seat cowling can go on, and our newly christened thong seat for your passenger, who must have hips no wider than, what, 12 inches, can sit on this bike in relative comfort. The rest of us mere mortals will be in absolute agony, I'm sure. I guess it was meant to be a monoposto, because it's Italian. We have adjustable ride height, as we said, on the shock. We also have adjustability here in the offset on the triple, so the bolt will be removed, another offset will go in, and that's plus or minus 2.5 millimeters. So we have a lot of adjustability up and down here for your swing arm angle. Also in here and in the other engine mount in front, you can take these bolts out and replace the insert in here too, so that you can move the engine up or down in the chassis. You cannot do that currently because the parts are not available. You need special tools and instructions, and you also need somebody that knows what the hell they're doing. So those will be available soon, but that will make an enormous difference to the centralization of mass of the engine in the chassis and the way the chassis will respond. So you have, in essence, a MotoGP style chassis here where you can move the engine purely up and down, not backwards and forwards. And that is a whole can of worms that only the very severely educated and absolute idiot savants are going to want to deal with. That's our adjustability. That's what we have in the chassis. There's a lot of things you can do, and at least you can fit yourself to the bike ergonomically in several ways, but the adjustable rear sets will be great. Those are available for the race package with the full system Akrapovic pipe, and if you do choose to get the Akrapovic pipe, you cannot use the passenger foot pegs because that will be taken up with the exhaust mount. There you have it. Now, if you're going to take this bike to the track, there are three modes available to you. One is track, one is sport, and one is road. At the road setting, there is an independent fuel injection mat for that, which reduces the maximum torque available for the engine to go to the rear wheel. This is currently rated at 180 bhp at the crank, so maybe 150, 160 to the rear wheel. If you use the road mode, then you'll have less torque at the rear wheel. The sport mode will give you elevated levels of torque and horsepower, and from the journal reviews, most journalists rode the sport setting because it made the bike much more user-friendly coming off the track. If you try the track setting, you need to be a fully licensed expert racer with credentials for British Superbike or the World Superbike Series, apparently, because it's brutal. So if you are going to try that setting, you must know what you're doing. I don't think I'd want to try it, let's put it that way. If you want to change modes, once the engine is running, you press the start button once. That will tell you that you have the option to change modes. You continually press the button until you get to the mode you want, but you cannot twist the throttle. At that point, once you've had 1.5 seconds, the computer will determine you have picked one of those three maps. We'll set the map to what's called positive, which will indicate on the display, and then your map is set. At that point, you can ride on and have fun. It would be really interesting to see the dyno curve for the track map, because clearly you're getting every ounce of power that the bike can give you, so it must be quite hairy. To do that, they've given you an Öhlins steering damper up front, but if the front wheel's in the air all the time, what do you need it for? but that's nice to have that piece of equipment there, especially for the track. So you've got a handful here, a tremendous bike, incredible adjustability, and 3 independent fuel maps for each mode setting. So whoever gets this bike, it'll be a lot of fun working with them at the track for the day on their first ride. Now on the left handlebar we have a mode switch, and most people, because of GSXRs, are used to that being a power mode switch, which means A, B or C. In this instance, the mode switch is for the digital display on the front dash. Mode 1 is for street riding, mode 2 is for track riding, where you will be given a lap timer in the display. So this is nothing at all to do with the fuel maps. To get to the fuel maps, the engine must be running. You hit the start button once, and that will tell you what map you're in. You hit it again, and you can run through road, street to track. Once you've selected that map that you want, do not press the button again. Leave it for about 1.5 seconds. It will turn from negative to positive to show you the map is now selected by the ECU, and then you can continue to go ride. At no time while you are selecting or going through your map should you turn the throttle at all. The bike must be running though, so do remember that.